So, was this the night that the torch was passed on by one of the greatest the sport has ever seen? Because Argentina captain Lionel Messi, visibly emotional at full time. The 39-year-old unable to become a two-time champion and may have competed in his last ever World Cup. As his head coach, Lionel Scaloni was fighting back the tears when discussing his own future with the national team before leaving the press conference completely overcome with emotion.
Final where the best team certainly won, but the fact that we're talking as much about the vast array of celebrities who were in attendance tells you that this wasn't a classic. Oh, Donald Trump was here as well. To be honest, it was a very technical affair. The purists would have loved it, but it didn't have the excitement that the rest of this tournament has, and certainly not the same number of goals either. From Argentina, we again saw a lot of those dark arts that we saw in the semi-final against England. Gamesmanship has taken on a new meaning, I think, in this World Cup for those, and there was some incredibly lenient refereeing for them again as well, right up until the point where Enzo Fernandez was sent off, deservedly so, for a cartwheeling clatter on Pau Kubasi. In terms of what Argentina offered going forward, very little. Their XG over 120 minutes was 0.09. So it felt like justice, I think you have to say, when Ferran Torres finally scored for Spain and beat Emi Martinez with the 20th attempt, the 20th shot that Spain had managed. Seeing Lionel Messi after the game in tears was very, very hard for any football fan to bear. He just couldn't conjure the fairy tale finale that he did 4 years ago, and you've got to give Spain an awful lot of credit for the way that they fenced in the GOAT. And what of that World Cup 27-minute half-time show, the first ever? Well, Madonna singing in a party car with Ronaldinho and the original Ronaldo driving up front was not a scene that I think any of us knew that we needed enough.
Well, as you can see here with Jay Bothroyd and Dharmesh Sheth. Look, we're going to get to the halftime show in just a moment because we've got stuff to say about that. But look, it wasn't a classic. I admittedly fell asleep at 40 minutes, but it's hard getting up for an early shift when you're trying to keep on top of the football, OK? But that's, I guess, what would sum up the first half, sorry. Were Spain rightful winners of the tournament, though, Jay?
Yeah, Spain won, football won. I think they was the best overall team. They played as a team.
Yeah.
There was no, outstanding, what we call like a Messi kind of player, the X factor. I know that Yamal was built for that, but he had a pretty poor performance by his standards. But overall, I think it was the right team. They all worked for one another. The way they keep the ball off other teams, last night, it's like Argentina might not as well have been there. They barely touched the ball. They barely got out their half. And I think that's mainly due to their philosophy. Spain almost look like a club team when they play football. They don't seem like a national team that, get together. It's like when anyone goes on that pitch, everyone knows exactly what's expected of them and they know their role within the team. There's no egos in that team. It's very clear to see. And we see these performances all the time now. They are the best side. This is the second time they've won the Euros and the World Cup back-to-back. And it just goes to show you, individuals do not win tournaments. It's all about team. There's no I in team.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've been talking throughout this tournament about Messi, about Mbappe, Haaland, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham. With Spain, who are we talking about? Yes, you talk about Rodri, but he's the glue that holds everything together. And then you talk about, the goalkeeper. Why is David Raya not in goal? Oh, because Unai Simon is so good. And we're not talking about any individual in that Spain team bar.
Maybe
like
Olmo.
We do.
Maybe Olmo at times, but there's no one where you look at and say, he was unbelievable. He was the one that got Spain out of trouble. It was them as a group.
Victory for the collective.
Yeah, very much. And look, Dharmesh, based on how the tournament has gone so far, was it no great surprise the final turned out how it did?
Yes and no. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to go to that extreme where not even a shot on target, but they didn't even have a shot for the first 90 minutes. And it's only when Spain scored that they decided, gosh, the penalties that we seem to have been playing for this whole 90, 120 minutes are not going to materialise unless we do something. I mean, those stats are absolutely astonishing. 2 shots and none on target in a World Cup final when you've got arguably the greatest player of all time in your team, but you can't get him the ball because these guys just don't give the ball away.
And even when they did, they suffocated Argentina. They pressed them so well that they end up just giving the ball back. They end up panicking.
Yeah.
And then you're having to kick the ball away. Then they get the ball back. Then they start probing again. And, you know, I love Messi, and I think we've been blessed that we've seen, you know, Messi play throughout his whole career. But there's no doubt about it. When you have a player that can't do the hard yards as well, you know, you're carrying a player. You're playing without, you know, someone on the pitch that's going to close down as well. So that's what you need. But again, like Dom said, it was just a really flat performance. I was surprised that Martinez didn't play, because I think if you put Martinez and Alvarez up front and then you put Messi in the hole, then you can go direct and you can start telling them to get hold of the ball, where it just seemed like you're not going to pass through Spain. They're so organised, they press so well. And even when they did, Rodri was always close to Messi. You know, and other players were as well. Cucurella, he's had a fantastic tournament too. So Spain were unbelievable.
Jay, we just heard from Lionel Scaloni that he's obviously clearly emotional, almost in tears. Well, he was in tears at the end. But it's his tactics, right?
Yeah.
Now, you've been a player. You've heard your manager say, right, we want to play in this way. Is there a situation where you're looking at it thinking, why are we doing this? Because Argentina will look around, they'll see all these players that they've got in their team that can create havoc, that can do damage, and yet they're being told, no, we're going to play this way, and we're just going to try and spoil the whole game.
Yeah, you know, the thing is in football, sometimes you play by a philosophy and you can get carried away with it in terms of you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, regardless if you're getting anywhere doing it. And we've seen that with lesser teams, you know, trying to play out from the back. And in my opinion, sometimes you just have to change it up on the fly. I seen Messi moaning yesterday, and that's the first time I've seen him moaning, you know, again, for his players. You're saying, come up the pitch. You know, even their manager was saying, come up the pitch. But it's not that easy when you've got Spain pressing you and you're telling your team to play out from the back. Maybe if you had another striker up there where you could play the ball to, you know, drop it in and then come up the pitch, maybe it would have been a bit different. Like we said, you know, managers make mistakes, players make mistakes, but everyone has to learn from it. And I think Scaloni in this moment, he probably will look back at this game and say, I got my tactics wrong.
Right, a lot more to come from that. But now for a Marmite event. Yes, love it or hate it. The inaugural World Cup halftime show provided both colour and controversy. A performance to rival the Super Bowl. The showing put on out in New Jersey ran to 27 minutes, right? 22 seconds. President of the United States, Donald Trump, was in attendance for the final, actually his first game of the whole tournament. Trump arrived aboard his helicopter, Marine One. Here he is, making an entrance, flying over the MetLife Stadium. And he watched on from a suite alongside Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. He presented the winners, Spain, with the trophy. And in the Trump fashion, the US president made sure to linger when it came to the celebrations.
They both played well.
So there we go, Donald Trump's take on the whole thing. I want your take on things, though. Halftime show, what did you reckon?
He told me he's going to get BTS's new album.
Who?
BTS's new album.
yeah.
You did say that, didn't you? No, I liked it. I have to say, I did like it. I felt it went on too long. 27 minutes, I feel like is too long. If it had been 20 minutes, then, you know, 5 minutes for what they're normally used to, I don't think was bad. I like Madonna's bit. Was Ronaldo actually driving that car? I'm not sure. It seemed like he was just sitting there. He looked a bit confused, but Ronaldo was beating his head, you know. So I don't mind it. I'm not sure if I would like to see it in the Champions League final, though.
No, I saw Rob Dorset earlier saying, you know, Madonna with Ronaldinho and Ronaldo, something we didn't need. I think we did. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Spain have reached the summit of world football once again, producing a performance worthy of champions on the biggest stage. Against an Argentina side packed with experience and determination, La Roja displayed composure, tactical discipline, and attacking quality to claim the World Cup trophy. It was a victory built on teamwork, belief, and a style of football that captured the imagination of fans around the globe. Argentina fought until the very end, but Spain found the answers whenever the pressure intensified. Every duel, every pass, and every key moment showed why they had been one of the tournament's standout teams. The final was not just about individual brilliance. It was about a collective effort that saw Spain outplay one of the greatest footballing nations in history. For Lionel Messi, the match marked the end of another unforgettable World Cup journey. Regardless of the result, his impact on football remains legendary, and millions of fans will forever remember the magic he brought to the world's biggest tournament. His legacy extends far beyond trophies, inspiring generations of players and supporters across every corner of the football world. The football community quickly reacted to Spain's triumph, with pundits and former stars praising the new world champions for their courage and tactical excellence. Many highlighted how Spain successfully neutralized Argentina's biggest threats while remaining faithful to their own identity. It was a performance that demonstrated not only talent but also maturity under immense pressure. As the celebrations begin, Spain can proudly call themselves the kings of world football once again. Their journey to the title will be remembered as one of determination, unity, and fearless football. With a talented squad and a winning mentality, this could be the start of another golden era for Spanish football, while the rest of the world is left wondering who can stop them next.